Hello and welcome to the WISE Social Media Dashboard webinar. The goal of this session is to demonstrate how easy, intuitive, and fast it is to use this powerful social media monitoring tool to help you listen, organize, and manage millions of sources around the world. You can access the application at www.wise.cision.com. Use your credentials to log in on the upper right corner of your screen. If you don't have your credentials, all you need to do is send us a request and our staff will forward the username and password as soon as possible via email. Today, I will be using my own credentials to show you what the social media dashboard looks like when you're logged in. When you first enter the platform, there will be no personalized dashboards by default. You will have to use the Setup menu to create your own dashboards. As you enter, this is what the platform looks like. Like I said before, there will be no results shown because as you can see, if you click here on New Dashboard, you have 0 dashboards created. Your username will show you a drop-down window where you can change your settings, like change your password and log out. Right now, we only have the blue bar up top, which is one of the components that I will talk to you about. But soon, as we create a new dashboard in a search, we will have also a sidebar and the dashboard itself, which will show you the results that you need to interpret. Let's create a very simple and straightforward dashboard so you can see the actual results as they turn up. The first thing you have to do in the description is create a new search by giving it a name. Let's say that your search is Cision. That's the name of your dashboard. The channels you will be monitoring are selected by default. At the moment, we are monitoring 7 social media networks, as you can see displayed. You can either use all of them, or you can select the ones of your preference. The keywords, you go down and you write the keyword that you want to search. I will be using Cision, reflected in my results from all the media channels I'll be monitoring. And then there's the profile. The profile is a mandatory section of this keyword, although it's really useful when you are trying to compare results between 2 different types of searches using different types of words. So I'll just use the same profile right here. So for now, you'll be searching Cision with the profile Cision, and as you click on the plus sign on your right side, it will appear right down here. It's also interactive. You can actually delete it if you misspelled it or if you want to change your keywords, or you can change your colors. I'll use Cision's color, and that's my setup. The third box that you have here pertains to language. The system has determined that you have default for all languages. It will be monitoring all languages around the world if you do not select a specific language. For now, I'll be selecting English and then drop down to the next box, which says date. It's important here that you remember that in social media, you need to get your updates as soon as possible. You want to be constantly updated. And as such, by ticking this box, continuous search, you will not have an end date. Your results will be appearing as they are posted. You will, however, have to define the date that you're starting to monitor. Let's say that you want to monitor yesterday. You click on the date and you select your date. You're set to go. The last step that you have to consider, which is not a mandatory step, you don't need to activate your alerts, which will send you an email at one particular time that you choose in order to show you exactly who's posting about your keyword. I'll just select the active and pick 9 a.m. to receive my alert. Right now, you can go up top. Let's just refresh. The description is Cision, so our dashboard name, which will appear up here, will be Cision. And our search has defined the word Cision, which is no longer in the text to search because it's already down here in your box of keywords. The language will be English. It will be a continuous search. It would always be updated to the most recent posts about your word. and you're searching from yesterday. Let's click on confirm and see what happens. You will start seeing some results right away. The system is now contacting all the social media networks in real time. Hence, you'll get preliminary results in your dashboard right away, as you can see. But if you take a look at your upper right corner, you will see that the refresh button is already showing 172 comments, while on the side, your preliminary results were 97 comments. What you have to do here is press a refresh button so you get all the comments, and as you can see, they've already increased. Okay, so the number that was preliminary is now much higher than it was instantly. It's also important to now go back a little, since you already have one of your own platforms created. You have a dashboard for Cision, and we are now ready to show you exactly the distinct components of this dashboard. The first one I already addressed at the beginning, which is this blue bar that you see up here with all the commands. The sidebar that has now appeared, it enables you to hide or show any of the components that you see here in the dashboard itself. So you have several boxes, and they show you different results that we'll explore in a minute. But you can easily hide or show them. And this comes particularly in handy when you're working with an iPhone, for instance, or if you're working on a tablet where your space is reduced and you really need to see the information that really matters to you. Okay, so let's take a look at the top bar again, now that you have all the available options open. Again, here you have your username with the settings where you can change your password, and you can log out. The second window here has a drop-down with all your dashboards that you've created and all of the words that you're monitoring. The next icon you see here lets you add dashboards, edit existing dashboards, or delete dashboards. The next one enables you to share data from the results that you've achieved from your searches to an Excel page or through an RSS feed. This icon here is the refresh button, which always picks up any extra comments that have not been yet updated as time goes on. The next one that you have will open a sidebar, which lets you do all sorts of filters and reset your searches. Okay, we'll get back to this in a minute. Let's just hide it. Let's take a look at the dashboard itself and all its components. The one that you have in your upper left corner is merely informative. It will give you the date that you're searching and the time that it entails all your results. The summary box will inform you of how many comments were made and how many individual users posted those comments. The discrepancy between the 269 comments in this case and the 188 users just means that users made more than one comment. The Customer Satisfaction Index provides an average automatic satisfaction index attributed to each individual post ranging from 1, which is negative, 3, which is neutral, and 5, which is positive. And this graph that you have here shows you the average sentiment towards the brand used in the search. Remember, it's an average between all the posts. The following section is the cloud, and it shows you the most relevant keywords found in the search. Moving on towards your right, you have your profiles. Here, you can do one of two things. If you prefer a pie chart, as you see here, you can use that to see exactly the hits that you have from social media. If you prefer a graph, you can switch that using these two little logos on your left. If you scroll down, you now have the sentiment box. And in this box, you also have the same feature as you did in profiles, where you can change the sentiment. You can change the pie chart to a graph to assess the sentiment of the overall results that you have for your search. You can hover over each one of your results, see the number of posts that you got. The next one is trends. Trends will show you exactly how the number of posts evolve in your time frame, in the time frame that you've searched. Let's compare Cision and Focus. The second box that you have lets you select the channels that you want to monitor. The ones that we monitor, the 7 that we have available for now, they're all selected by default. You can always untick the box, and that one will be excluded. The third box that you have is the keyword box, or if you want to make your word selection more efficient, there is a help section on the question mark on the right side of this box, text to search, which gives you hints as to what keywords to use if you don't have a specific idea of how to choose your own keywords. My first keyword will be Cision, and I will associate that to the Cision profile. Remember that the profile is a mandatory section of the keyword box, but is really so much useful when you're comparing more than one word in the same search. In order to add this search, you click on the plus, and you have your first search created. Here, you can delete it, and you can edit the color to make it more to your liking. This will determine how the graph will appear when you create your dashboard. Because I want to create another search, which I want to compare with the Cision search, I will enter the word focus in association with the profile focus, and I'll click add. You can change your color. In this case, I'll use the green. And now you have a comparison between keyword Cision, keyword focus to both profiles. You go down to the language section, you select English. Please keep in mind that the system will monitor all languages by default. You need to tell the system if you want a specific language for your search. In the date box, the continuous search is selected by default, a start date that you'll have to select. Let's say that we want to select yesterday until today. The last box is the alert box. This is not mandatory. You don't need to select the alert box. But if you do want to receive an alert in your email, you click on the active and you select a time. Let's go back. We have our dashboard name in the description. We have channels selected. We have our keywords. We have selected Cision in association with the profile Cision. We have focus in association with the profile focus. In English, the continuous search is also selected, so our time span will include yesterday and today. We activated the alerts to come in at 9 a.m. to your email. All you need to do now is confirm in order to create a dashboard. We are going to get some immediate preliminary results for this search, but the full search will go on. The system is contacting all these social media networks in real time. And as you can see in the upper right corner of your screen, there's a wheel that keeps turning. It's stopped now. So what you need to do is immediately update your search, and that will give you exactly the number of comments that have been made in the time span that you defined for your search. And you now have the complete view of the 3 major components of the dashboard that we need to address. As you can see, you now have access to the 4 icons in the upper right corner of your screen, which I will address now. The tooth wheel that you have here lets you add more dashboards, lets you add existing dashboards, lets you add dashboards, lets you edit dashboards, or delete dashboards that you no longer have interest in. Toothed wheel allows you to add new dashboards, edit existing dashboards, or delete dashboards that you no longer have interest in. The following icon is related to the export of data to either an Excel or to an RSS feed, which you can use in other applications. This is the refresh button that will add to your results any comments that have been made since the last time you refreshed. When you click on the last icon, you have a filter section that I will explain to you a little later as soon as we need it in context. Let's take a look at the dashboard itself. I'll show you some of these components and what you can do with them. The first component that you have here in your upper left corner is merely informative. It tells you about the time span that you selected for your dashboard. It tells you the start date, and it tells you in real time that it's still happening. The next one is the summary box. In the summary box, you have the number of comments that were made and the number of users that made those comments. This number usually doesn't match, and that's because users usually make more than one comment. To your right, you have the customer satisfaction index. This graph is particularly important as it gives you the customer satisfaction regarding your brand. The customer satisfaction index provides an average automatic satisfaction attributed to each individual post ranging from 1, which is negative, 3, which is neutral, or 5, which is positive. Okay, the next component is the cloud. The cloud gives you information regarding the most relevant words which appeared in your search. To your right, you have the profiles, the box which gives you the breakdown as to how many hits you had for each of your keywords. There's a feature in this box. You can change according to your preference from a pie chart to a graph, which will show you exactly how many comments per profile. If you scroll down to your left, the sentiment box, you can see the number of comments that were made for Cision, distributed by sentiment, and the number of comments that were made for Focus, also distributed by sentiment. To your right, you have the trends section, which distributes the number of comments in the time frame. So it lets you see the trend that's been established in the time frame that you defined for your search. If you go further down, you have a bigger box with the interactions. This gives you access to the actual posts. You will find the posts associated to the words that you search. There's a title and part of the post as well, and sometimes an image which is associated to the user, the number of followers that they have, etc. On the right, there are 3 icons related to the sentiment. As you can see, you have a sad face for the negative, a straight face for your neutral, and you have a smiley for your positive. It's possible to alter the sentiment of the post in case you don't agree with the automatic sentiment, and after you change it, the message assessed humanly will appear and will remain associated to that post. That way you know that for those posts, the automatic sentiment is not being considered. For instance, if you believe that this post shouldn't have a neutral sentiment, you can change it to a positive sentiment, and as you can see, the assessed humanly appears to the left of your sentiment. As I scroll down, you now have the channels box. That will give you a breakdown as to how many comments you had in each one of the monitored social media. You'll also have some features on the left upper corner of this box which lets you change the appearance of the data. In the authors box, you have a breakdown of which users mentioned Cision or Vocus during the time span. The influencers box will give you a breakdown as to the most influential users in each of the channels, their frequency, how many comments they made, how many followers they have, and also the position that they hold in terms of ranking. To our right, we finally have the language box, which informs you how many comments about Vocus and Cision you got in English. Had you selected more languages, the graph would have more specific breakdown how many posts in each language you would have. The interactions box has some additional features which I'd like to talk to you about. You can use the interactions box to export the data, and you go the bottom right corner of that box and you have an export. If you want to do this, you can export to Excel or you could send it to an email. I'll show you how that works. If I click on Excel, after selecting my posts, this is what you get. You get every specific tweet, you get the link, the language, if the sentiment was positive, if it was negative, and the source, as well as the profile, how many friends that particular user has, and additional information. As you can see, you can also email those posts if they're interesting for you. I'll show you how that works. You click on email, you enter your own email or any other email that you wish to send this information to. You click on OK, and this is your media report with your tweets that you selected, with the name of your dashboard and the name of the platform. Back to the dashboard. You can edit your search at all levels. You can edit your keywords, you can edit the social media networks, or even delete it in case it doesn't interest you anymore. Finally, I would like to address the help option, where you get a lot of information about how to use the dashboard. As you can see, you have intuitive, fast, and easy to use information. But remember, our team is always available to answer any questions you may have about the use of the dashboard. They will get back to you as soon as possible. That is all for today. Thank you very much for participating. Please give us your feedback. We'd love to hear from you. Cision, power your story.